Do you want me to turn off the TV?
Yes, please. Okay. This is a bit weird because my camera is there and my computer is there. And I'm live on YouTube for the first time. Yay! So, if you don't know me, my name is Jess, and I'm an artist and a teacher. And I'm the founder of Create Calm Crew, which is a creative and therapeutic group for I would say like creative professionals or anyone who's struggling with anxiety or high stress, and they're looking for creative ways to manage their stress, to manage their pain. So I have a big interest in psychological principles and people like Jung. So I really try to, in each of my workshops and in every course I do, in every challenge I do, I try and incorporate, studies and psychological principles into everything I do. So everything that you will see in Create Calm Crew and on my channel is all kind of exercises that has worked for me and things that are backed by science, things that I've researched and looked at and seen that there's been studies done that show that this kind of thing works. So in Create Calm Crew, we focus on three things. The first is therapeutic art, laughter yoga, and journaling. So today's free workshop is going to be a mixture of journaling and therapeutic art. But I want to really just focus more on the therapeutic art aspect because, art is such a powerful tool to not only heal from various things, but also a way to become more self-aware. And by becoming more self-aware of how you're feeling and what you're thinking about, the more aware you are of what you're thinking and how you're feeling, the more able you are to change that. So if you're a very stressed person, if you can identify the emotions associated with that, if you can identify the thoughts associated with that, you're more able to stay conscious in your everyday life and make those changes that you need to feel better, to be better, and all of those things. So if you are watching, please give a like, or if you have any questions or want to say anything, please do so in the comments. And of course, like and subscribe if you want to support this. I don't know why the light is so weird. Okay. So without further ado, I've got my cup of tea here. I hope you have something, a beverage of your choice. So today's workshop is all about releasing pain using art. So I'm someone who's pretty much suffered from chronic pain since I was a kid. Things like migraines and back problems and things like that. So I'm really focused now, after all these years, on techniques that I can use to release this pain, right? Because I truly believe, and I don't know if you're into people like Louise Hay and Abraham Hicks, I really believe that the way we think really affects our body, affects our health. And it's not just them that say it. I mean, there's loads of scientists and doctors that support that claim, that the things that you think and how you're feeling does or can eventually create illness or disease in the body. All right. Can you guys see the dust floating around, or is it the steam? Is it the steam? Okay, a big combination. So today's workshop is all about releasing pain. So before we release pain, and this goes for emotional or physical pain, okay? So and they're actually connected as well. Before we can release pain, it's really good to acknowledge it in the first place. And something that I learned, and that's also supported, is that the more you're able to identify how you're feeling, the more easy it is to overcome that feeling. Now you might think like, what is that? How does that even make sense? But I'm not talking about just like, oh, I'm feeling angry, you know, although even that can help. But it's really about going deeper into what is the emotion truly saying? Like, how do you truly feel? Are you really just angry, or are you disappointed? Are you full of self-doubt? Are you hurt? So emotions are really interesting guides into our own psyche and into our subconscious as well. So by doing activities like this, you can really begin to reprogram your subconscious mind to, instead of telling you you're sick, instead of making you feel bad with negative thoughts, you can begin to change those and transmute them into something more positive. And by doing that, you can really change the way you think. And if you can change the way you think, you change the way you perceive the world, you change your body. In fact, when you change the way you think, you physically change your brain, because our thoughts are connected. The neurons in our brains, the things that fire, that create the thoughts, they're connected by a kind of, it's called a myelin sheath, if I'm not mistaken. But it's like a little tunnel that connects it. And the more you think a thought, the stronger and harder that tunnel becomes, so that it's almost like becomes a habit, right? So if you can start to change the way you think and create new pathways, you physically begin to alter your brain and the way it's wiring, the way it's firing, right? And if you get this right, and if you do this often enough, then the new way of thinking becomes a habit. And if, for example, your new way of thinking is, I'm abundant, I feel great, you know, opportunities always come to me, then eventually you'll start to notice things in your environment that support that. And you'll begin to feel better, you'll begin to make better decisions. Obviously, this takes some work, right? So this is why we do these kinds of activities in Create Calm Crew. And if you're interested in joining the group, I've put the link in the comments below, so you can join the private Facebook group, Create Calm Crew private group, or you can join the newsletter, and I let people know in the newsletter about challenges and workshops and courses and things like that. So without further ado, so I've introduced you a little bit to me. So I'm from South Africa originally, if you can't tell by my accent. And I lived in UK for 13 years before completely changing my whole life and moving to Portugal, and to a place that I couldn't imagine actually living, because it was just so beyond my wildest dreams. So today, let's get started. So I thought, instead of using paint and things like that, we're going to stick to the dry materials. So you can use things like charcoal, pencils. So I've got some pencils here. I've got my Sharpies. I'm like a bit of a Sharpie addict, so I have a huge thing of Sharpies. So Sharpies are really good. What else? You can use pastels, chalk pastels, anything really. The more colors you have, the better. So we'll start with a simple breathing exercise just to kind of get into it. I'm hoping this workshop will be less than an hour long, so I'm going to aim for like 40 minutes or so. So I'll move my camera down so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm using paper right now for this one, but you can use your sketchbook or anything really, any newspaper or whatever. So for this first exercise, we're going to do a little breathing exercise. So I like to just use printer paper for this. So get your piece of paper and choose a Sharpie or choose a pencil, whatever it is you're working with. Don't worry too much about the color, although you can go into that if you want. So once you've chosen your color, just take a nice deep breath. So The breath I'm about to show you now is called the physiological sigh. And this is a very cool and it's like a cool, calm, collected breath. Okay. It will help you if you're feeling stressed, if you're struggling to sleep, if you're having a panic attack, which I did have suffered from before. This breath is just amazing to calm down and just settle the body down. So, what this breath consists of is 2 breaths in. So, one deep one, and then another one just to fill in your lungs. And then you breathe out through your mouth. So, 2 breaths in and 1 breath out through your mouth. So, we're going to do that now using our Sharpie or whatever you're using to kind of guide your breath. So don't focus on what it looks like. This is all about the process, okay? And doing this is a very, very relaxing process. So we'll just start maybe in the bottom corner and we'll take some nice 2 breaths in. So, and then 1 breath out. And then again. And then out through your mouth. And then again. Out through your mouth. Just let your pen or whatever you're using guide your breath. Or I should say, let your breath guide your pen. So if you want to change colors, maybe Sharpies is not the best idea for this because I'm starting to breathe in the fumes. So I'm going to switch to a pencil, unless you like that kind of thing, but I don't know how healthy it is to breathe in those fumes. So we'll start again, maybe in the top corner, and take 2 nice breaths in. And you can change colors if you want. And let's do this one more time. Yo, I'm really smelling that Sharpie. I think highlighters would be the best idea actually for this. So I'm just going to use another pencil. And we'll take a nice breath in. And again. And out. And nice breath in. And again. And out. And just let your hand move across the page as you're breathing. It doesn't have to look like mine. And just breathe easy now. And just let your pen or pencil be guided with your breath. I sometimes close my eyes while I'm doing this. And it's kind of nice to see the results at the end. Also, if you're into neurographic art, which I might do another live about, you can keep this page and you can use it for the neurographic art. So if you want to keep that, I'll probably do another neurographic art workshop and we can always use that again. Okay, so hopefully you're feeling a bit more relaxed now. I certainly am. And now, because this workshop is about pain, so have a think about what kind of pain you want to release. Is it a physical kind of pain or is it a psychological pain? I guess I can lift this up while I'm talking to you. And for this exercise, you can actually use both if you want. So have a think what kind of pain you're experiencing. And it doesn't have to be like something super intense. It can just be something that's like a bit niggly, a bit annoying, something that you want to release. Um, and what I've come to realize is that behind every pain, it's almost like the pain is speaking to you. So today we're going to look at that, and we're going to try and find out what the pain is actually saying. So now that you've figured out what the pain is, so I'm going to use my physical neck pain as an example, but I'm going to include like other things. So it could be like some kind of emotional, like stress or anxiety. And we're going to kind of combine all of these things onto the page. So really don't limit yourself here, and don't worry about what it looks like. Okay, there's no real right or wrong way to do this. And just by participating in this and going through the process, you're helping yourself a lot. Okay, so we're going to let's look at line and color. So think about your pain, and if it could have a color, what color would it be? What shape would it be? Where's the one I did earlier? So I made one earlier, and it was actually really cool to do. Where is it now? I think I moved it somewhere else. Okay, never mind. So I'm just going to go ahead and do mine, and you can like watch and, oh, here it is. Okay. So this is one I did earlier. So I want you to really like focus on the pain. So it can be emotional and physical. So like have everything mixed together. And I want you to imagine like you're zooming into the pain. Like you've got like a microscope, a special microscope that can zoom in and make it physical, what you're experiencing. And what would that pain look like? Is it like little kind of balls, little circles, like purple? What color is it? What texture is it? Is it a kind of like a spiral, just like is it in your head? Like, what does it look like? What does it feel like? What color is it? What texture does it have? And just begin to fill the page with the different sensations that you're experiencing as pain. So we're going to start by doing that. And then we'll move on to the emotional vocabulary. So let's start with that. So I'm going to do mine again. So really focus on different texture. So for example, like maybe frustration could be these jagged lines here, or maybe you want to like use like a charcoal and just like, color the whole thing in over it. So sometimes it's difficult for us to pinpoint what exactly we're feeling, right? And sometimes like different pains can be, what's the word? When you feel it in one place and then simultaneously you feel the same pain somewhere else, and they're connected, like trigger points in your body. So let them overlap, let them kind of interact with each other, see what happens with how they interact. And this could be like your physical pain interacting with your emotional pain. For example, like when I'm in a lot of pain, I feel very tired, I feel very irritable, and that kind of like grows out of that pain. So you can do dots, you can do, whatever it is you're doing, but really like get into the pain, like zoom into it and really like feel it. And as you're doing this, imagine, because our imaginations are so powerful, right? Imagine that like that pain that you're feeling is being like transferred onto the page. So I'm going to start a new one and give you guys like, I don't know, 5 minutes. I think that's enough, right? 5-10 minutes to draw your physical or psychological pain. I'm going to do mine again because it's fun. If you're experiencing something very intense like anger, don't be afraid to just like, just go wild with it. Just like, whatever it is. The idea is to try and transfer it onto the page. So I need to keep track of the time. So how does that pain feel? If you could describe it in visual terms. And if you have colors, use your colors. If you don't have colors, you can focus more on the texture, right? And the beauty of this is that it's kind of abstract, so no one really, if someone had to see your drawing, they wouldn't be offended, like, because it's very unique to you, right? Although I think some things are kind of universal too. So you can focus on the line and the shape, but if you feel like it's starting to become a recognizable object, like that's okay. Don't hinder yourself in any way, just let it go. Because this is how the subconscious speaks to us, right? And Cecilia's watching. Hi, Cecilia. My biggest fan. Oh, that one's dry. So let your physical and emotional pain come together. And don't be afraid to get physical with your with your surface. So there've been times where I've done this exercise where I actually like stab the page with whatever my tool. I'm a very calm person, okay? Because I do this. For some people, maybe this is a slow drawing. Maybe the pain is like a kind of throbbing, if it's a physical pain. Maybe it goes really far out into the rest of your body. Or if it's a psychological pain, if it's something like anger or depression, maybe it's like a kind of a, I don't know, like a pit or something. Just see how those interact with each other. And once you've kind of got something on the page that depicts your pain, start to include some words, some emotions, some thoughts that you might be having. So, for example, on this one, I've got like frustration. So there's my frustration there. So start to add in like some emotive words. And if you're struggling with this, which is completely normal, by the way, a lot of people don't have a very good emotional vocabulary. I highly suggest looking up the emotional wheel on Google, and that will really help you find your vocabulary for your emotions. And actually, there's been lots of studies done that show that the more emotional vocabulary you have, the better you actually feel. And just the simple act of labeling your emotion, like, oh, I'm feeling frustrated right now, or I'm feeling neglected right now, or I'm feeling let down, or whatever it is, just by saying it, it immediately helps you to overcome it. Because usually what happens when we feel these emotions, they're kind of all like swimming around and we don't know like what we're feeling because there's so many, right? So I highly recommend looking up the wheel of emotions, or emotional wheel. It looks something like this, if you can see. No, you can't see. Okay. I'll post it in the Create Calm Crew group. So if you join that, you'll see it, or just Google it. And it's got like different sections. So it's got like angry, disgusted, sad, happy, surprised, bad, and fearful. So that's kind of broad, right? But then it goes into more detail, like for each section. For example, fearful has scared, anxious, insecure, weak, rejected, threatened. And then it goes to even more details: helpless, frightened, overwhelmed, worried. So it's a really interesting tool if you struggle with emotions or labeling your emotions, which I think like 90% of people do actually. And before I started this work, I really struggled to label my emotions. And I'm someone who, I thought I was a pretty like emotionally intelligent person. But yeah, a lot of people actually struggle with that. But the more you practice it on yourself, the better you'll get at it. Okay, so spend some time labeling your drawing now. I'll just give you like maybe 2 minutes so you can check out that wheel as well. And this could be something that you do like once a week. It's not like something you just do once and then never again. Whenever you're feeling kind of overwhelmed by your emotions or pain, or you just want to release it, this is a really, really amazing activity to help you with that. There's a bug. So you may be wondering like why I'm focusing on the negative. Like, isn't it bad to focus too much on the negative? But the point is like, if whether you're focusing on it or not, you're feeling this way, right? So just by acknowledging it, you're taking a step to release it. So once we've done this part, then we'll move to the other part of the exercise, which is the more positive version. So once we've got all this out, so to speak, now we will focus on how we want to feel. Like how would you like that part of your body to feel? The part that's causing you pain. If it's a psychological or emotional feeling, like how would you like to feel instead? So what's cool about this emotional wheel is that it's got the negative emotions, but it's also got the positive ones on the other side. And you can kind of move up the emotional scale using like Abraham Hicks language. So if you're feeling angry, you can begin to kind of shift that feeling. So let's do that now. So it might be good just to take a moment and like take a nice deep breath. And again, and out through your mouth. Okay, let's do that again. Nice breath in, and another one just to fill your lungs. And out through your mouth. So I love this breath. It's really, really calming. And it's a very soothing breath. So let me know in the comments how that made you feel, that part of the exercise. Did it make you feel a bit worse to begin with, or was it like a really nice release? Let me know. And what I will say is with this pain portrait, so to speak, you can actually destroy it. And this can also be part of the kind of cathartic process of this. You can take this and just like rip it up. And you can imagine like with each rip, you're like dissolving it. Yeah, you're like releasing it. And I really encourage people to not hold on to these ones. That's why I like to do them on a separate piece of paper and not in my sketchbook. And you can really just completely get rid of them. Oh, this reminds me of that. What's that film? There's like a horror film where there's a psychopath, and he tears paper like this, and he really loves it. He's like, oh my gosh, what was that? I think it was Galangoliers. I think it's a Stephen King. It's based on a Stephen King book, Galangoliers. It really freaked me out. So you can really rip this up. Some of my students burn them as well. Apparently, that's very cathartic. If you do that, please be safe, guys. Don't burn down your houses. Do it in the barbecue or something. Or what I like to do as well, sometimes you can use these scraps and use it as like a collage to make something else, to make something beautiful. But since it's our pain body, I would recommend just like kind of ripping it up and really like get into it and just get rid of it. So now let's focus on how we want to feel. Okay. So I've been doing these heart meditations by Joe Dispenza, and they're really, really amazing. So just take a moment to, this might sound cheesy, but just trust me and like just do it. You've got nothing to lose, right? So just close your eyes and take a moment and focus on where your heart is. And usually this takes some time, but I'm just giving you like a brief kind of just relax, okay? Focus on your heart and just focus on one positive emotion that you can find in your heart and bring it to your heart. You know, maybe it's gratitude for a good day, maybe it's something that made you laugh today, anything at all. It could be just the fact that you're doing this this practice, this exercise with me. So just focus on like one positive thing and try and grow that feeling. And it is possible to do that. And then focus on the area that's causing you pain, or the part of your body, like where you feel the pain. So if you feel like depressed, usually you feel it in your like solar plexus, but wherever you feel it. And just try and move that positive energy to that point in your body. So just take a moment to focus on the area that's giving you pain. And just take a few breaths and imagine this kind of positive energy moving to that part of your body. Just to shine some light on that area. And just relax. Take a nice breath in and breathe it out. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing as what we did before, but opposite. So now focus on how you want to feel in that area. Think about what kind of colors that is. So if you're feeling like anxious and the color was green, for example, maybe you can focus on calm and peace, and like maybe the color of that for you is yellow. So think about the color, think about the texture. Is it wavy? Is it circular? Is it spiraling? Is it repetitive, or is it one kind of shape? And just begin to create a kind of positive physical expression of the area that you want to change. So I'm going to move this down. So I have a lot of like muscular tension in my neck, which has actually gotten a lot better since I've been doing this kind of work. So focus on that area and think about how you want it to feel and what kind of colors can you use to depict that. What kind of shape, what kind of color. And we'll just spend 5 minutes on this. And while you're doing it, really just imagine that area of your body as well. So what colors, what textures? I usually use chalk pastels for this, so this is a bit strange for me using Sharpies. It can be a shape, it can be color, texture. It can be as simple or as complex as you like. What does that look like? There's no right or wrong. Whatever gives you that good feeling is good. And once you've got something down, start to include in your drawing what kind of feelings you feel, what kind of thoughts you want to feel. So maybe like peace, tranquility, and include the thoughts you want to think as well. So like things like I am whole, I feel good, I'm calm, I'm confident, whatever it is. I'm grateful, I'm abundant, and don't worry about what it looks like. I mean, I'm an artist. I would never like exhibit something like this. In fact, it's a bit it's a bit of a stretch for me to even do this, to be honest. But it's not about what it looks like. It's just about the feeling. And you don't have to show anyone this. It's just for you. And what kind of thoughts do you want to think? So make sure you include lots of positive thoughts and feelings. And it's really interesting to look back on this. I know this is just like a kind of a taster workshop, really. Usually I would go more in depth, even looking into like what colors you used and what the pain or what the emotion could be telling you about what needs aren't being met. So you can really go deep into this work. And this is, in a way, a kind of shadow work as well. So if you're into Jung or shadow work or just self-development, wanting to improve your way of thinking, your way of feeling, or improve your life, doing these kinds of exercises are really great ways to see like what's in your subconscious already, what's in your mind, what's in your body already. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you did the exercises and what you thought of the process. And if you would like to share any of your work, you can do so in the Create Calm Crew private group. I would really love to see what you've done or see you in the group. And yeah, so we can just take another moment. Just close your eyes for a second. Take a nice breath in. And out. And one more. And out. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. And now I have to figure out how to end this. Okay, it's here. All right. Bye.